Well, I'm Patrick Moran. I'm from Window World. Hey, thank you all for attending. I'm sorry I was muted there. So I'm part of Window World, and I'm also the vice chair at SCORE. Our speaker today is Sandra Curry, and the topic is eating sustainably. Sandra manages Community Partnership, which is the community action agency that serves Butler County, Pennsylvania. In addition to supporting self-sufficient work done by other nonprofits, Community Partnership offers programs in food security, nutrition education, agricultural development, and entrepreneurship. Sandy is also a full-time doctoral student at Regent University in Virginia Beach, with a concentration in entrepreneurial leadership. She is also a resident of Newcastle, Pennsylvania. So without further ado, let's welcome Sandra Curry. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I see most of you are muted. So thank you for the opportunity to speak with all of you today. I was actually supposed to give this presentation in March, and I believe that everything shut down about 2 weeks before I was supposed to give it at Westminster College. So I'm excited to have the opportunity to give the presentation this time in September. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what you can do to eat more sustainably, as the presentation discusses. But then I'm also going to kind of talk to you a little bit about our work and a project that we have going on in Lawrence County. So I have shared my screen. Hopefully all of you can see it. And I'm going to go through my slides. And at the end, if you guys have any questions, I'm absolutely, definitely willing to answer any questions that you might have. So what I was going to talk about in March is the economic impact of agriculture and food in Pennsylvania's economy, because I live in Pennsylvania. Then I want to talk a little bit about a project that we have going on in Lawrence County, and then also talk to all of you about what you can do on a grassroots level to increase the sustainability of the food that you consume. So without further ado, I am going to maybe do this. I am using Canva, so I will apologize. I am getting to learn how to do that. There we go. And I usually use PowerPoint, but I am learning Canva. And I like Canva a lot better than PowerPoint, but this is the first time I've actually shared a presentation directly from Canva without making it a PowerPoint presentation. So I apologize if I don't exactly know what I'm doing yet. So I wanted to define some terms for all of you. I wanted to look at what sustainable means, what food security means, what food sovereignty means, because you might see that term, and then what regenerative agriculture means, because we're working in all three areas. So sustainable, obviously defined as capable of being sustained, or related to, or being a method of harvesting or using a resource so that we're not depleting it or permanently damaging it. When you're talking about food security, you're looking at the state of having reliable access to a sufficient quantity of affordable and nutritious food, regardless of your income level. Food sovereignty is a little bit of a different concept. Food sovereignty is the right of people to healthy and culturally appropriate food that's produced through ecologically sound and sustainable methods, and that those populations have the right to define their own food and agricultural systems. Regenerative agriculture talks about farming and grazing practices that are specifically focused on soil restoration and improving carbon sequestration in the soil and carbon drawdown from the atmosphere, and improving the water cycle. Back. When we're looking at how agriculture fits into the economy, and again, I was looking at Pennsylvania, there are 280,500 direct jobs that are supported by Pennsylvania agriculture. And then the total number of jobs that are supported in Pennsylvania by agricultural pursuits is 579,000. When you're looking at the number in dollars of direct outputs, that's 83.8 billion. And the total amount of economic impact from agriculture in Pennsylvania is $137.7 billion. So definitely a major industry still in Pennsylvania. When we're looking at strengths, and a lot of these are also applicable to Ohio as well. Pennsylvania has a large diversity of crops and agricultural products. We still have a lot of pockets of traditional or natural farming. We have a lot of family farms, and we still, Western and Eastern Pennsylvania, we have a couple of very strong Amish communities. Tradition of farming and infrastructure still in sort of our culture. Pennsylvania has a branding campaign for its agricultural products. It's called the PA Preferred Program. We have strong universities, especially Penn State, our land grant university, who are working, but we also have other universities too. Chatham is another university in Western Pennsylvania that has a strong agricultural program. And then we traditionally have good soil in Pennsylvania. When we are looking at opportunities, Pennsylvania is in proximity to 35% of the US population. There's a strong consumer demand for natural and traceable products. Pennsylvania, our governor actually has set a goal for Pennsylvania's agricultural industry to be one of the leading states in the country for organic agriculture. There's a global demand for Pennsylvania products. Pennsylvania produces a lot of mushrooms, fruits, apples, forest products are just some of, and there's a growing hemp industry as well in Pennsylvania. And then opportunity for technological advances, looking at things like the use of drones for farmers to check their fields, robotic milking machines, the ability to integrate technological advances into agricultural practices is something that's an opportunity. But when we're looking at threats for Pennsylvania and for Ohio, the regulatory environment does not match consumer trends. We absolutely have a transportation and processing infrastructure problem. We could maybe talk about that a little bit later, but meat processing infrastructure is something that's a very critical need in Pennsylvania. We do not have enough USDA certified meat processing plants. And I know several farmers that we work with who are taking their meat into Ohio to have it processed, or who during COVID just had their processing dates canceled by their processor, and they really had to scramble to find new processors to take on their meat. Overwhelming trend towards sustainable practices. That's a threat in one way, because a lot of our farmers are still using conventional practices. So for folks who have not started to make a switch from conventional to sustainable, that could be seen as a threat. And then pests. One of the big pests that they're worried about in Eastern Pennsylvania, not quite so much in Western Pennsylvania yet, although it is here, and the populations are growing, is the spotted lanternfly. I put a couple of pictures of the spotted lanternfly up on the slides. This is down on the right-hand side. That's what they look like as not the adult stage, but I think it's the nymph stage. And then down on the left-hand side is what they look like as an adult. They're an invasive pest. They are from Asia. They are attracted to, it's called the tree of heaven, but they also eat orchard plants. So apple trees, fruit trees, grapevines, and they could strip those plants within a matter of hours. So Pennsylvania has several counties that are quarantined for the spotted lanternfly. If you travel to really almost any eastern Pennsylvania county, you are required to check your vehicle before you leave. You're really supposed to run it through a car wash when you leave eastern Pennsylvania's quarantine counties. In western Pennsylvania, we have 2 counties so far that are quarantined, Allegheny and Beaver, because there are spotted lanternfly populations now in both Allegheny and Beaver counties. So I travel regularly between those counties. Beaver more than anything, and to have a personal car or vehicle, and I have to have a permit to travel to and from when I'm on work. So you could try your car, and then when you stop, they hop off, and that's one way how they spread. Also spreading by using the rail lines. So they're coming west on the rail lines, finding populations in Beaver and Allegheny counties are near the CSX rail yards and some of the other rail yards because they're riding the trains when they come west. So there's a lot of discussion right now and a lot of focus in Pennsylvania about spotted lanternfly mitigation efforts because they are really, really dangerous. Basically, we're all being encouraged to squish them if we see them. So this is in Pennsylvania, and again, this is also applicable somewhat to Ohio. We have an aging workforce. Most of our farmers are 55 plus, and we're not having enough new young farmers coming in to replace all of the farmers who are going to be aging out and retiring or passing away. We have an agricultural workforce deficit that's estimated about 75,000 jobs in the next 10 years. Again, we don't have enough processing infrastructure. The PA Preferred brand is a little bit generic. It's great that we have it, but still a little bit generic. We do have an over-reliance on some sectors, looking at fluid milk and dairy, and not diversifying in those sectors and doing like value-added products. To capitalize on specific consumer demands. And then just in our food shed in general, and our food shed really, we think about our food shed as Cleveland to Pittsburgh, with a couple 100-mile swath on either side of that. We are importing about 85% of our region's food from other regions of the country or overseas. And that makes us incredibly vulnerable to disruptions in the supply chain, like we saw early in COVID when some of the meatpacking plants were shutting down. So what does this have